Well, it's like we talked today in the meeting. It's a must-win. It's is it Game 7? Pretty close. So Game 7 from tomorrow is our thought process. You got to win that game tomorrow, whatever it takes.
Rick,
That's
we
it.
we haven't seen you for a while. Can you give us first off an update on Phil Pedo? How serious is he doing? What's he done for the year?
Good days and bad days. He's had. You know, you go out and skate, felt good. The next day, not as good. So, you know, to be honest with you guys, does he play this year? I mean, it's you know, maybe the odds are against it. I mean, plus you don't want to put a guy in that type of position. But when a guy has good days and bad days, you know, obviously, you know, you're not going to play the guy.
Is there concern about his career?
I don't know, because I talked to him today and he said it was different than his last concussion. The bad days aren't as bad, so that's a positive. So yeah, I think we got to take the positive approach. Plus, he's got, you know, what, 4 or 5 months to rebuild himself, or who knows? Like, you know what I mean? So you just got to take it day by day with this guy right now.
Elise Patterson.
He skated, I think, once or twice. Didn't skate that hard. A little bit of discomfort.
Upper body or lower body?
Upper body.
Do you know
Expect
how
him to play
or
well.
what? Yeah.
I think I always expect that, but like I said, it's day to day. When a guy's day to day, expect him to play. But I don't know, you know, the discomfort level, where it's going to go.
If it were the playoffs, is the kind of thing maybe he could be an option?
That's a good question. If he had to play tomorrow, I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Rick, how did it happen? I mean, we saw the face-off where he.
I think it was in the corner on a battle, something like that.
Hoglander?
Hoggy, he's biting at this guy's biting at this guy wants to play so bad. So he's got a red jersey, which is a good thing, but, you know, obviously no contact, but is he close? He's closer, I guess, than the other guys. But, you know, this guy wants to play so bad, so we got to be careful with that.
How's the flu bug?
It went through the road trip a little bit. Didn't hit the whole team at once, so it was pretty good. So I think it's gone.
How about Quinn? Last 3 games, maybe
Yeah.
he hasn't been as effective, given his high standard of play, playing a ton of minutes. Like,
Yeah.
do you feel like just the load is wearing on him a bit?
Yeah, I had a good talk with him today. I think you know, he knows he's got to play better, but I mean, we've leaned on the guy all year, playing a lot of big minutes. You know, a lot of times footy, we talk about it, you know, can we dial it back a couple of minutes? We've talked about that, but you know, sometimes it's a lot of face-off, ozone face-off plays. You try to, the times on this, we try to make it's not so evasive. You know, the power play. It's not like, you know, those situations. He's not taking as many D-zone face-offs, so he doesn't get hit a lot. But saying that, yeah, we're do or die. So there's some times when there's situations like, man, we need him out there because he's that special a player.
How much do you relish the fact that 6 of your last 8 are at home?
Well, I like the way we've been playing at home. The records been getting better at home, so that's a good thing. You know, obviously that's a tough trip, travel trip. So, you know, this is like we got to bring the energy tomorrow. You know, use the fans, use all that stuff, whatever resources we can for this game tomorrow. But yeah, is it nice to be at home? Sure, but you know, you want to play well at home too.
People have really respected the job that you've done here, Rick. There's a report that came out today that said management has offered a contract, and I know you didn't really want to talk about it a month ago. Can you just shed some light on what these
Yeah, it's private. Like, you know me, I'm trying to be as honest as possible. I honestly am thinking, like, trying to, you know, get this team in and, you know, the direction, all that stuff. That's for another conversation, you know, with Jim and Patrick. I mean, we go way back, so we'll have those conversations. But right now, I'm thinking of how you beat Seattle. I really am. I know people don't believe it. It's the truth. So, and you know, this is a great city. You know, like I walk around the city. It's a phenomenal city. The fans have been great. So, you know, just say that. I like, you know, it's a great city. But there's some things that we'll talk about down the road, and it's not the right time right now.
So the report suggested that the club has exercised its option to bring you back next year, whether an extension is done or not. Has that been communicated to you?
At this point, it hasn't been exercised, but it's not. That's not because of Jim and Patrick. You know, it will be communicated when it gets done. You know what I mean? So, and those guys have been great to me because they know I've been, you know, entrenched in this playoff drive. They've been great.
Rick, where are you with Lekkermacki? I know after the Jersey game you said, hey, like goal, shootout goal, and you wanted to find ways to get him a little more ice time, and then you play these tight games, and he didn't play a lot in the third period in Winnipeg. where are you sort of with this call-up, and do you want to get him more opportunities?
Yeah, of course. But we have, we got some pitfalls. The team's working hard. I don't know where you want me to play him. You want me to play him in center?
Fair enough.
Okay. No, I'm just saying, what do you want? He's on the power play. He's a young kid. We got to be careful. We know what we're doing when it comes to young guys. I think you guys in the past were bitching about the franchise of putting guys too quickly. I think so. I mean, we're not doing that. We're gonna, I think we're just gonna take our time there. It's the same thing with Patterson. That's the same thing with Mancini. You got to marinate these guys. Got to give them some good times. You got to protect them. So we're protecting their confidence. I think they've done a hell of a job, these young guys, in this road trip. This is a good taste for these guys. And whether they play 10, 12 minutes, or I get them on a shootout, when I put them out there, I'll make those decisions.
Rick, do you learn anything about the group in the final 8 games?
Yeah, who's all in and who's not. These 8 games you're going to see. I think the guy like I'll give you an example. Dakota's starting to play a little bit better. I mean, these are big 8 games for him. He can use that for going to next year. So these 8 games are important to me to see who's all in and who's not. 100%.
Building on that, what do you make of how this team has responded to all the injuries this year?
Well, I think like I said, there's been a lot of things that hit this team, and you're looking for culture stuff, right? Who's all in, who's not, and when you have a lot of guys all in, buying in, you can withstand some stuff. And I think we've done a pretty good job. Listen, this is for another conversation, what happened. But for the most part, I think a lot of guys have dealt with adversity pretty good here. So I got to give them a lot of credit, especially these young guys coming in. We have what, 5th or 6th youngest. I want this team, our players, to create a cocoon for these guys. This is important for these guys. I don't want these guys' confidence to get shattered. This is a big for them, these 8 games. So I want to make sure that I call it the shield, right? The culture shield, and we have to continue to build this shield around here.
Rick, in all of your time in the game, have you seen such a wild swing from one season to the next? Everything went perfect for you guys last year, right? No injuries. Guys had careers. This year, all of your key guys go down. Have you ever seen it be so drastic, this swing?
No, it's been a big swing, but you learn about yourself as a coach. You learn about players. I mean, you learn about it as a team, right? So we all got to look at ourselves and how do we get better. Like myself, but like I said, there's another conversation down the road. Like, what could I have done different? But at this point, all I'm thinking about is Seattle. I mean, it's a short term right now for me. And then we'll deal with all that other stuff down the road.
How valuable has Puce been to your team?
Yeah, he's been a great story for. I know he's been a positive story. We need positive stories around it. He's one of them. I think I told you guys he took the information in training camp and applied it. I know I said it again. I mean, we're in Winnipeg and I'm in the gym and he's in the gym. He's one of those guys that he's on the ice. I think he still might be on the ice shooting pucks. I mean, he's deserved what he's deserved this year because he's put the work in. So he's a positive story for us.
So given the uncertainty then at center ahead of him, what's given him this opportunity, do you think it's important that he's part of the team beyond this season?
Well, when we have a conversation, obviously, when we sit at the round table and you look at what type of players you want, he's obviously a guy that I really liked. He's really helped me in a tough situation, right? When guys went down and stuff like that. He's been always a constant for me. So you always root for a guy like that, sure.
With the players that you've had called up from Abbotsford, what have you seen in the preparation that they've had with Manny Malhotra and his coaching staff that has made it an easier transition for them here?
Yeah, I think Manny's done a terrific job. I mean, you got to remember down there, they get one day they're practicing power play, the next thing I got half their team up, and he doesn't complain. He give me the next man up mentality. That's what the minors do, and I think he's done a hell of a job down there. Carly gets called up, and he's kind of like, wow, he's improved. Leonard Mackey's been a couple times up and down. I think he's improved. Look at Pedersen, the young Pedersen, same thing. Some of the principles that I love, and Manny's, applied it down there. He comes up in here and he's, getting close to being a big minute guy. But we got a lot of guys, those guys got a long way to go. And even a guy like Manny knows that, but he's definitely helped us get those guys ready for NHL games. It's a big.
You talk about the culture shield. Does that start 100%. In Abbotsford as well?
It starts from as soon as you draft a player, Vancouver Canucks. As soon as he puts a jersey on, and that's the way it's got to be. You got to keep going forward. Whether you have a bad couple of months or you have a bad year, you gotta have the constant. You can't switch every year. You know, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You gotta stay constant, and I think that's something that we've talked about here, and I think we've done a pretty good job of the constant, but, you know, it's taken a little bit of hit. But the Lettermackis and the Carlsons and Patterson, those guys are a big part of this whole shield, I think, or culture shield, I call it.
Thank you.